Can you just feel the air? It feels like trade deadline season. It feels like a lot of stressed out GMs. And this is the best time of the year where your team, your favorite team, has a chance to either get better or not make the needle move. We'll talk about this on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that little red button down there that says subscribe. Make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on, go ahead and become an everyday or somebody that subscribes to us, somebody that listens to us every day. We appreciate everybody that's doing this. That's why I wanted to come on, do a short one. There's a lot of rumors floating around with the Houston Astros, and I wanted to address them. I want to hear your thoughts about what's going on right now. And I think Brett's on the way to the big game tonight with the trade deadline. There's a big game tonight versus Gavin Stone and Framber Valdez of the, I believe they're called the Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers or something like that. But this should be epic showdown. This series is definitely going to have a playoff feel to it. You got Shohei Ohtani on that side, and then you have Alvarez and the Astros who are trying to win some ball games and keep a hold of first place. But to keep a hold of first place, they got to do something at their trade deadline. And I know that Dana Brown reinforced that don't expect a number one. He said, we're looking for a number 3 or number 4 pitcher. And Zach Eflin was already traded to the Orioles today. And it was a okay package. I believe it was like 3 prospects or something. But the Astros have to do something at their trade deadline. And so now it is, I believe it's Friday. Yeah, today's Friday. As a teacher, you kind of lose track of what day it is. And I'm excited to see the interview with Walker Yannick tomorrow. We did it actually this morning. We actually knew that he was in town to sign with the Astros. So we interviewed him this morning. So you'll get to see that tomorrow. So that was a cool thing that we got a chance to do. So there's been a lot of rumors about either Isaac Paredes. You got the Astros, Yandy Diaz with the Rays. He was on a personal leave or something, and it looks like he's coming back. So I've heard some rumors about him possibly being a target for the Houston Astros. Last night, Randy Rosarina, this is a guy that has tormented the Astros over the years. He is now in the division, guys. So he'll be playing with the Mariners. I don't think the Mariners are done with their offense the way it is. One player who's probably having a down season is probably not enough for the Mariners. It's a good move, but it's not enough for the Mariners. And so there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be done for the Mariners. On the Mariners side, they would like to get another reliever. They would like to get another hitter. But the Astros have got to, they can't just stay the course. They've got to put the pedal to the metal. And Dana Brown today said that he would prefer that no major league players are traded. I know a lot of people are like, well, please don't trade Jake Marisnick. Jake Marisnick is likely not going to be traded if you're listening to Dana Brown here. Now, this is all GM speak. We don't know what the active talks are. We'll talk about that in a second. But we don't know, like he's purposely putting the stuff out there just so we know. So it's kind of a little bit deception there. So we don't know what's really going on there, but we do know that this is what he has to say about them right now. So also we got to talk about what's going on with there's 2 pitchers now that Eflin's off the board. Now, who are the Astros targeting? And so we there's one more thing. Dana Brown did say that prices remain high. It's a seller's market with a lot of buyers. This is something we've been talking about on the podcast. And one other thing he said, no prospect is untouchable. Bryce Matthews, we would like to keep you, but you're not untouchable. Basically, that's what's going on. He said, asked if any prospects are untouchable. He said there are guys he'd prefer not to part with, but no one is untouchable. So that's a big thing. I think back in the past, Jeff Luhnow, he was big at, no, I'm not going to trade this guy. I'm not going to trade Kyle Tucker. I'm not going to trade this player. And I saw something today, and it reminded me that the Astros almost traded for Zach Britton back in day. And you know who they would have given up? From Valdez. This is when he was still a minor leaguer. So you don't know what's going to happen to these players. They're prospects for a reason. So you don't really know what's going on. So that's what Dana Brown had to say. So John Morosi basically came and on the MLB Network or on Twitter or X, and this is what he said. Jack Flaherty has been the subject of trade dialogue between the Tigers and the Astros, sources say. Eric Fedde is another starter the Astros are actively considering. He's a stronger candidate for the White Sox to move if Garrett Crochet is not dealt. And with Garrett Crochet saying, no, I will not go to another team unless I get extension to pitch in October, that's going to make any team a little bit more hesitant to trade for him. As good as he is, plus he was a reliever before this, so he's already probably going to be reaching a innings limit pretty soon. So this is not the first time we've heard Fedde, but yesterday there was a couple reports that there were several teams in Sugarland scouting the Astros prospects. One of them was the Tigers. One of them was the Rays, of course. Also, it was the Diamondbacks, surprisingly enough, and one other team. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but a lot of people automatically went to Skubal for. Well, the Tigers are in town. The Astros get Skubal. No, the Tigers are not going to trade him unless they get a heck of a deal. And the Astros just don't have that package. They don't have enough prospects to make that deal done. But Flaherty, he is somebody that is going to cost a lot, but he is a player that is a little bit more attainable. So let's go and look at them one by one and decide which one would be better for the Houston Astros. So I know that Flaherty is a free agent next year. He's on a one-year deal, $14 million. So the Astros will be on the hook for a prorated $14 million if this trade goes through. And according to Morosi, the dialogue has already begun. So Dana Brown and their GM are already kind of talking about things. And I've already seen Tiger fans on X saying, no, not again. We already got burned from the Justin Verlander trade. So, but this year, Flaherty has a 2.8 WAR. He's 7-5, 2.95 ERA. He's got 133 strikeouts and 106 2/3 innings pitched. He has a career WAR of 13. He has a career ERA of 3.64. His career whip is 1.175. So he is, how old is he? He is 28 years old. So he is still a young player. He is somebody that the Astros can go ahead and bring in, try to maybe extend him or something like that. So that's one of the options. So that's not a bad deal, and he's having a great year. He's somebody that I kind of wanted for the past 2 years the Astros to trade for. So at this point, he is an option out there, and the dialogue has already begun. Eric Fedde, he was mostly kind of a journeyman before this past year. His ERA was not great. You don't want to look at anything before 2022 because it'll scare the crap out of you. But he didn't pitch in many games. He was mostly he did start some games, but he was not really a big impact type guy. He pitched for the Washington Nationals when the Washington Nationals were not good. And so he went to play in the KBO last year. For those of y'all that don't know, that's Korean League. And he had a great year. He rediscovered who he was as a pitcher. And he came back to the big league, signed a deal with the White Sox, not knowing that the White Sox would be one of the worst teams in baseball. But he's having a great year. He is 7-3 with a 2.98 ERA. He has 104 strikeouts and 117.2 innings pitched. His WAR this year is 4.7, but get this, his career WAR is 4.5. So most of his WAR has come from this season because he's having that type of season. What type of deal is he having? He's under contract for next year, and he's signed for a 2-year, $15 million deal. So half of that would be 7.5. So the Astros would be on the hook for 7.5 million next year, and prorated 7.5 million this year. So because there's the extra year attached to Fedde, it might cost a little bit more, but I think the Tigers are gonna. Everybody's after Flaherty. He is the big guy out there. Now that Eflin's gone, if he was even a big guy, I think Crochet is the big guy, but I think he might be making himself a little bit unattainable just with his little antics. Well, I can't pitch in October unless you extend me, something like that. So we'll have to see what's going on, but we're going to go ahead and continue this conversation in a second. And guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Make his first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go ahead and check out the Locked On Astros podcast, and we do appreciate it. Hey guys, have you heard of FanDuel? We love sports. We love the Astros. We love the Astros winning. And at beginning year, a lot of people were betting on Astros to win, but they weren't quite doing that. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going no matter once baseball season's over. You can always go to FanDuel. And this summer, FanDuel's hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most of your summer, whether it's who's going to win a World Series, who's going to finish in AL West, whatever you're doing. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Visit FanDuel.com to look at the odds and include everything that you need to go make the bets that you want to win in. All right, guys, let's go ahead and continue this conversation. So I've kind of laid out the two guys. They're both right-handed pitchers, I believe. I know Flaherty is, and Eric Fedde is too. They're both. Fedde's a little bit older. He's got a little bit more innings under the belt, so to speak. But at the same time, he doesn't because he wasn't really that great of a player in his first time around in the big leagues. But I think that the White Sox, who knows what they're asking for. But at this point, the Astros have got to go out and get something done. And if that is going out and get Flaherty, I'll be perfectly happy about Flaherty on this team. I think that until everybody gets healthy, he's the number 3 on this staff, because I think that he's proven that he can be that guy. There was a couple years where he kind of had some down years, but he has recovered. I believe that he had a high ERA in 2023, 4.99, but he brought it down this year with 2.95. In 22, he had a 4.25 ERA. But for the most part, he's been around a 3-something ERA. In 2019, he was a 2.75 ERA type pitcher with 11 wins. That was his most wins. And he's probably going to get to 12 wins this year, especially if he goes to a team that wins. So I think that if you're asking me which one would be the better, I think it would be Flaherty. But at the same time, the Astros like control. They like having, if they're going to trade their prospects, like Dana Brown said, he doesn't want to trade any of these guys. But if he's going to trade them, he'd rather them be somebody that you can have for more than just a rental more somebody that you can have for at least one more year. So that's why I think Fedde is a good option. So what do you think, guys? That's the pitching option. So Yandy Diaz is another name that we've heard since yesterday's podcast. Isaac Paredes is a guy that I still think will fit the Houston Astros, but it's going to cost a lot. It's going to cost a lot of prospects because not only is he a perfect fit for the Houston Astros, the Rays know this. They've seen him play at Minute Maid Park. They know he's a pull hitter. So they're going to try to milk the Astros or whatever team for as many prospects as possible. But don't forget that he does have 3 years of control. So this is the ultimate catch for whoever it is. Yes, he was an all-star this year. I was about to say he's not all-star, but he's not a superstar level talent, but he is a all-star. He is somebody that should Alex Bregman leave next year, he could switch over to third base and you can find first base and unless you're ready to give it to John Singleton. And I hear a lot of people saying, well, John Singleton is doing great this year. Why do you have to go out and get a first baseman? It has nothing to do about replacing John Singleton. You need players on the bench. Do you, in the playoffs, do you want Aledmys Diaz on the bench coming up with the bases loaded in the 9th inning and you're down by 3 runs? No, you don't. You rather have somebody like John Singleton coming up and possibility of getting something done. So the Astros, it's not just about shoring up first base, but it's about getting more hitters in this lineup. That's what the Mariners are doing. They're like, oh crap, our offense stinks. So how can we fix this? Let's go ahead and trade and get Randy Rosarina. What else is out there? So I think that we'll see what happens there. But Mbala says that wrong one. Stokey says Isak and Jack would be cool. Yes, since Eflin is gone, I think that Isak and Flaherty would be good. I think if you'll be done there. I don't think you need to address the bullpen at that point if you go get those 2 players, but it's going to cost a lot. And like Dana Brown said, there's no untouchables. So Ryan Stanek has just been traded to the Mets. So that's interesting. So what we've seen, and I've been talking about this on the podcast, is Chas McCormick. You could trade him to a contender and maybe bring in something that you need. So or like Rafael Montero, there's ways to trade to address your weakness and shore up somebody else's weakness. And that's what the Orioles and the I want to say it was the Mets or somebody made it. No, Phillies. It was the Orioles and Phillies. They traded Sir Anthony. I forgot what his last name is, and then also had Austin Hayes going the other way. So basically, the Orioles got a chance to shore up their bullpen, and the Phillies got another outfield bat. So this is 2 contenders go ahead and helping each other by filling in the holes that they have. And so that's what the Astros, Sir Anthony Dominguez, I forgot his name. But this is a way that the Astros could do it with somebody like Chas McCormick. You might have to attach a prospect to it. But I think that the Astros want to see what Pedro Leon can do. And I know that Chas McCormick has this great history with the Astros, but he doesn't look like the same player. He had a home run the other day. But I think he has 2 home runs on the season, but it's just not the same Chas McCormick that we're used to. And we were all going after Dusty Baker last year. Play Chas McCormick, but this year it's kind of the opposite. Play Jake, play Dubon, play Alvarez in left field. But if you go out and get a Yandy Diaz or you go out and get a Paredes, that's a way to kind of shore up everything and get the extra bat, because there's like a 3-day span where the Astros had trouble scoring runs. And that's what you can't have if you're going to compete in the playoffs. And the Astros know that. They're going to be facing a good opponent in the Dodgers today. So the Astros are going to do what it takes. Hopefully they don't have to mortgage the farm system, but it is something to keep up. So Stokey says Aledmys Diaz is not Yes, Ryan Mountcastle, the Orioles are trying to trade him. Like I said, this could be something where the Orioles, it's not necessarily that they don't like Monty, but this is a way for them to uh, open up space for some of their younger prospects to play, because they have a whole bunch of people at AAA that have no place to play. And that's kind of how the Astros are with Pedro Leon. So if you go ahead and open up a roster spot, you can do that. And I think that's what you see some teams that are thinking ahead and saying, okay, let's go ahead and rebuild the farm system while getting players. But at the same time, you have the Astros that probably don't have they're not going to, it sounds like Dana Brown doesn't want to trade any of the major league pieces. So we'll see what happens. But guys, this is going to be exciting. 4 days? The trade deadline is on the 30th. And so I keep on checking Twitter. So we'll see what happens from here. But I was surprised that Stanek was traded to the Mets. There's a whole bunch of deals going on. This is going to be active trade deadline. I think you have more teams in it, more teams that, like the Rangers, they have switched from sellers to buyers. So now they're looking to get some bats, and they're looking to block the Houston Astros, because the Rangers, after playing some pretty good baseball, they've smelled some blood in the water, and they're like, hey, the Mariners, they suck right now. They can't score runs despite that good pitching staff. And the Astros, they've been so bad this season. Can they consistently play this good? So the Rangers are probably going to try to look to improve a little bit too. And plus they got DeGrom coming back at some point. They've got some other injured starters, just like the Astros do. So look for them to be buyers as well. And it's going to be interesting trade deadline. That's all I have to say. So any final thoughts, anybody here? Oh, Arizona, that the fact that the Astros or the Diamondbacks had some scouts in Sugarland yesterday, that was very interesting, because the Diamondbacks are very much in the wild card race in the National League. What would they want with Astros prospects? And I know the Astros have been super into Christian Walker. He is a free agent. He is somebody that mashes home runs. I would like to say I would love Christian Walker on this team, but why would the Diamondbacks do that? And B, that would cost a lot of prospects. So I don't know what the Diamondbacks are doing. Maybe there's somebody on the team not named Christian Walker that the Astros are after. But for the Diamondbacks to trade Christian Walker while they're in the playoff race, I think that would be a bad look, because he is their star. And you don't trade your star while you're doing that. That's why the Mets peeled back on trading Alonso. They're like, yeah, we're actually pretty good right now, so we're not going to trade Alonso. So I guess that's all I got. I haven't seen any more rumors, but somebody said Cal Quantrill at this point. He actually said some pretty naughty words to the hitter, and there's a bench clearing incident in the game the other day, but that was pretty funny. You have to go see it, but that was pretty cool. But the Astros do have prospects, and I've seen people online, not necessarily Astros fans, but people saying the Astros don't have prospects. They do. It's just going to hurt a lot. You're talking about trading Jake Melton, Bryce Matthews. You can't trade. I don't think you can trade Walker Yannick right now, but there's always that player to be named later, and that's typically somebody that was drafted this year. So hopefully the Astros don't have to trade too much, but you've got to give something up. They're not gonna give you a ace for Chas McCormick. That's not how it works. It's got to be fair for both teams. So guys, that's all we got for this Locked On Astros podcast. I'm excited for this game. I'm about to turn the game on. That's why I want to keep this a little bit short. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go and subscribe to us on YouTube. Make us first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. And Brett and I will be back whenever there's a trade, any pretty legit news. So we'll try to keep you updated as time goes. But for right now, Astros, go kick the Dodgers' butt. For Brett and myself, Eric Huysman, We are the Locked On Astros podcast, and we'll see you later. Go Astros.